keyboard nerds, hope you're having a great day. Today, I want to show you a Jack McDuff bass line and comp exercise. A lot of this is borrowed from a tune that Jack McDuff did called Walking the Dog, which is a C blues shuffle kind of thing. It's really, really funky. He's got a great bass line that he plays. It really swings. He uses some 9 chords in the right hand, and just the way he puts it all together is kind of like this little puzzle. I love these. These are great for your practice because you're practicing bass lines, right hand comps, and you're doing hand independence all at the same time. So it's win, 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 and you're practicing. When you're practicing, it's great to be as efficient as possible and hit as many concepts at once if you can, in my opinion. So let's get into this one. Let's get into the bass line. The bass line goes like this. That's it. Kind of reminds me of an old boogie woogie rock and roll piano bass line that you might hear, like that kind of thing. It's almost like he took a piano bass line, transferred it to the organ, and added a ton of swing to it. And the main thing about this bass line is it's got this little thing where he really drops into the one right here. It's got a really cool feel to it, right? So the main thing to do is start with the bass line, try that really slow, get comfortable with it, and then the next thing we can do is move on to the right hand chords. So the right hand chords are 9 chords. 9 chords sound awesome in blues and jazz music. They have no roots and they just have an incredibly beautiful sound to them in this type of music. A C9 chord looks like this: E, G, B flat, and D. You might also want to think of that as in C, the 3, 5, flat 7, and 9. And they call that the 9 because it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there it is, that's the chord. So, get comfortable with those. The rhythm that we can try first to put these together is maybe one like this. So, if you were to count that, you could count it like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So the comp is going on the 1 and the 2 and. That's a great way to start comping between the hands with this chord and this bass line. It's a great place to start. Again, it sounds like this. So, the next thing that Jack McDuff does is he sidesteps. He comes into the C9 chord from a C sharp 9 chord. So if you took a C9 chord, it looks like this. C sharp 9 chord would be exactly the chord 1 semitone above it. And that's the comp that he does. Sounds just like that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So he's just going C, C, C sharp, C, C. Sounds awesome, right? Let's try putting it with the bass line. Here we go. Yeah, I like that. That sounds good. He does this really interesting thing when he comps. I noticed this in one of his videos. He removes the 5th from the 9 chords. So a 9 chord looks like this. He takes this note out. Pretty interesting. And we might ask, why is he taking a note out of the chord? I feel like it might be because he wants to have the bass line being heard more. I've heard from jazz organ players that I've studied with that if you play 4-note chords or sort of big crunchy chords in your right hand, it can actually start robbing frequencies from the bass line, which you really want the listener to hear, whether it's on the album or whether it's live. So if you can play a 2-note chord, like Jimmy Smith always liked to play 2 and 3-note chords, it really leaves room for the bass line to breathe and be heard. So that might be the reason why he's using this technique. Anyway, here's what it looks like with these chords. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do with your practice is maybe try running this through a 12-bar blues. So you're going to have to learn these 9 chords and these bass lines, not only in C, but also in F and also in G. So an F9 chord would look like this. It's also going to go up to the 9 chord just a half tone or a semitone above it and do that sidestepping thing. So it's going to go up to an F sharp 9 and drop back down to the F9. The G chord is going to look like this. This is a G9 chord. So if we can learn those 3 sets of chords, the C, the F, and the G with the sidestep, you can easily apply this to the entire 12-bar blues. Let's look at the bass lines. So C was like this. F is going to look like this. And G is going to look like this. There we go. So practice the C bass line, the F bass line, the G bass line. Practice the right hand chords in C, sidestepping to C sharp, F, sidestepping to F sharp, and G, sidestepping to G sharp. So if I was to put this through a 12-bar blues, it would sound like this. So I've also taken that 5th out of each chord. In normal 9 chords, it would look like this. And in F, it would look like, and in G, it would look like this. But I've taken the 5th, and what I mean is the 5th of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've taken the 5th out of each chord to play like Jack McDuff. And in F, that would look like this. And in G, that would look like this. The tricky thing about this is when you come in to the F chord or into the 4 chord in the blues, you're going to have to chromatically approach it from the F sharp, which is kind of tricky. Check it out. F sharp, F. C sharp to C. Same thing here. G sharp to G. F sharp to F. C sharp to C. And if you want, at the end of the progression, you could also go back to a G9 chord as kind of a turnaround. If you would like. So it's really as kind of a puzzle. It seems pretty easy to play, but when you start putting it together, it can take a while. So please have patience when you're putting these together. And don't forget about the slow down tool in YouTube. There's at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there's a little gear that you can click on, and you can take the speed of the video down to either 75% or half speed. I use that when I'm learning on YouTube all the time, and I'd highly recommend you use it too, because it's a great way to kind of isolate certain parts and see them slowly, and that might help you just kind of pick it up a little bit faster. But I'm going to play this all the way through one more time. Okay, so when you've mastered that, you can try applying all kinds of different rhythms to the right hand to challenge yourself, to just learn other things. And one of the rhythms that you might want to try, this is a cool one. I call this the funky good time rhythm from James Brown. If you know the song, I'm gonna have a funky good time. There's kind of a rhythm that goes like this. And I love applying that to shuffle blues progressions. Let's see if that will work over this bass line. By the skin of my teeth there, man, that was tricky, but that's a fun one. Those are the kind of things that really work your brain and your hand independence. And yeah, super fun. I'm trying to think if I can think of any other comps that would work over this. Maybe something simple like taking that one directly from Texas. Those are those kind of Texas blues shuffles that you hear like Steve Ray Vaughan play. That it's all on the offbeats, and it really propels forward and drives nicely. But that's another one that you can totally try. And I also wanted to mention that when you're learning something like this that's a comp with the bass line, always remember that you can take a lot of these things and practice comping them as if you were playing with a band with no bass player. So I'm going to show you how I would take this and practice it with no bass line, and maybe how it would translate live. So let's pretend that there is a band behind me. Of course, there isn't one, but let's use our imaginations and pretend that there's a great blues band behind me. 1, 2, 3, 4. See what I mean? Those chords still work pretty good, and you can use the same rhythm, and you just have to kind of play it a little bit differently, because of course you wouldn't be playing the bass line. So I use my left hand, and you probably heard me talk about this before, as a percussive device, and you can too. So the way that I would look at this is like this. Just kind of slapping the left hand keys, just gently touching them. Not actually making a chord, not actually allowing the left hand to play any kind of note or harmony, but just simply like just a percussive hit. So like this. don't forget, also in this exercise, we've tried 2 different types of chords. We tried the 9 chords with all 4 notes, and then with the 5th taken out. So you can also do this with all 4 notes. And of course, you could also apply this same technique to that James Brown funky good time rhythm, which sound like this. So this really works great in a band situation too. And it's always really important to not fence it into, this is only something that works when I'm playing left-hand bass and comping. No, you can actually take a lot of those concepts and apply them to when there's a bass player and still use them in a different way. So you can get as much mileage out of these concepts as possible. Anyway, there you go. Again, if you haven't checked out Captain Jack McDuff, please go to Spotify and check him out. He's such a cool jazz organ player. I'm working on a bunch more stuff like this. I'm on a total Jack McDuff and actually a Little Feat kick at the moment, come to think of it. I'm on a massive Little Feat kick. I don't know what you guys think of Little Feat, but I'm going to be putting up some Little Feat piano tutorials as well, because Bill Payne is such a monster piano player and has such a cool style. And anyways, that's the train that I've been on lately, is a Jack McDuff obsession and a Bill Payne obsession. So you'll probably be hearing more of this in my online tutorials and YouTube videos. But as always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate the support of the channel, and hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.